Hello all, my name is Krishnak and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, we will be continuing the Django Python WebFrame series, and already I have actually covered two tutorials where I had actually shown you how to install Django library and then how to create a default Django project and run it in your local server. So in this particular video, we are going to discuss about URL and views, which are very much important with respect to Django. And we'll try to go ahead with it, and I'm going to also show you one example but from scratch. I'll try to develop it, and it'll give you a very good idea about it. So to go with what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to Anaconda prompt. First of all, a quick working location that I'm actually going to create. So this is my working location. So let me just go to the E drive over here itself. And already, if you remember guys, from my first project, from the first video itself, I had also created an environment. Okay, and I will just go and activate that specific environment. So I'll say activate my env, sorry, the environment that I had actually created was development, because here if I go and write Django slash admin, here you'll be able to see that I had installed Django over here, right? All these things are there, and that is how we actually verify. Now what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to basically create a basic project, and from that basic project we are going to develop something, and this application will be my study timetable. So every day from Monday to Friday, I'll try to actually create a timetable saying that today I'm going to study this, Tuesday I'm going to study something else and all. So let's quickly go over here and quickly create a Django project. In order to create a Django project, you just have to write Django admin, okay, admin, and here you have a lot of options. You can see over here, one of the option is something called a start project. Okay, so I'm just going to say start project, okay, and I have to give my project name. My project name that I'm actually going to give you over here is I can just say just my test app. So this is my project name, or you can also say sample app, whatever project name that you want to give. So I'll just execute it. Now here you'll be able to see that it has got executed, right? Now let's go to the working location. Now to the working location, if you see over here, there will be a folder that will be created in the form of test app. So again, I'm going to go over here and basically write cd on to the test app, and now if I go and see directory, these are all my folders that are present. Now this is my entire project that is created by default, and I had also shown you this in my second video. Now let me go ahead and try to basically write code dot. So my Visual Studio will get opened, and finally you'll be able to see this is my Visual Studio, and this is the test app that I have actually created. Okay, and here you can see with respect to, there will be a file called as manage.py. I've actually discussed about this in my second tutorial. Why are this all files over here? So this is the basic default structure that is given so that you'll be able to run this. If you want to check out whether the environment is correct or not, just make sure that you are in the right environment, in the development environment itself. If you really want to run this particular thing, if you run it, so what will happen if you run it? So how to run it? In order to run it, just write python manage.py and just write run server. I hope I'm right it. Yes. So here now just execute this URL, and by default you'll be able to see this will be your entire by default project that we have actually given, and by default Django provides this. Now what I am actually going to do is that I'm just going to create my own study timetable website, where probably if I write study planner or study planner / Monday, suppose if I write like this, and if I execute it, you will be able to find my entire Monday schedule over here. Suppose if I write study planner / Tuesday, okay, Tuesday, then you will be able to find out my Tuesday pattern. So what we are actually going to do, we are actually going to create new pages, new views. Okay, and in Django we'll try to see, which I have actually written, that we are going to understand about views and URLs, how we can create this kind of URLs itself. So let's proceed, and let's quickly do one thing. First of all, always remember guys, whenever we really want to start and create any app, so in Django also we have to create multiple apps. Suppose study timetable can be my one app, the login authentication can be another app, database authentication can be another app. Any kind of services that I'm bringing in my website, that can be created as another app. So in order to create the app, what I have to do is just write python manage.py, and then manage.py. Now let me just go back to my command prompt, because in this command prompt you'll be able to see, if I write Django/admin, here you'll be able to see something called a start app, right? So we are going to use the same thing, start app, for this particular purpose, and just give my app name. What is my app name over here? Suppose I'll say this is my study timetable or study planner, something like this, any name you can give. Now once I create this app, you'll be able to see there will be a separate folder which will get created, like how we have this specific test app, like, right? So once I execute this, you'll be able to see it has got executed over here, and by default you'll be able to see on study planner app. And here also you'll be able to find out some of the files like model.py, apps.py, views.py, test.py, and all. In this particular video, we are going to understand what is this views.py, what is this urls.py and all, right? Because we have to create URLs, custom URLs, and along with that we have to create a different view for that particular URL. So that is what we are actually going to discuss. So now let me just go over here and see what is actually present in the views. So over here you can basically see that my views, it just says that you have to create your views over here. Now what all things you actually have in a view, that is the major thing, or what all things you can define over here. So here you can define two things. One is functions or classes. These functions or classes are mapped to URLs. Okay, so please make sure that you remember this. This is very much important to understand. Okay, so let me just zoom out a little bit so that at least you'll be able to see something, right? Perfect. So I'm going to basically show in this particular way. So you have over here, you define functions or in classes which are maps to URL. Now let me just define a simple function. I'll say definition index, and here I'll be using this request. Now why I'm writing it as an index, because I just want a welcome kind of page for me, you know. So because of that I'm just creating this particular index function itself. And whenever by default this particular study planner actually comes, you know, we should get a display message saying that welcome to Krish schedule or Krish study timetable, something like that, right? Or something, anything, any messages you can write. So I'm just going to write return http response. Okay, so http response is basically used because see, this request is basically the request that it will be coming from there. Similarly, we can actually give something like this http response. Now this, for this http response, you know, we have to basically import it from Django dot apps, I think Django dot apps, or there will be one more thing which is called as http. Okay, Django dot http, and here I'm going to import http response, right? This response will be able to give any kind of response that we are passing from here. So by default I'll say over here with some message, welcome to Krish study timetable, right? So understand what is this. This is a view, right? This is a view, and it is actually mapped to this particular function. When I go inside this index function, probably I hit this particular function. How do I hit it? For that I have to go with respect to the URL mapping. But when I go and hit this index function, it should be able to give us this particular message in my page, right? So this is one example. Now, okay, fine. I have actually created this index. This is basically just like my hello world, you know. Now, after this, we will be creating some more files over here. The one file will be that when will this index function get called, right? For that, you have to basically start one more thing. That is another file you'll be creating, what is called as urls.py. Whenever you create any file, guys, whenever you create any app, this kind of app projects, you always need to have, most of the time you need to have this urls.py and views.py. Views.py will basically say in which page. It will be a function which will get mapped to a page or it will get mapped to a view. Later on, I'll also show you how classes will be utilized, but let's try to understand with respect to functions. Now, what we have to do is that whatever these views are there, we have to map it with some kind of URL, right? So this urls.py file will be used. So here I'm just going to say from Django.urls, I'm going to import a method or a class which is called as path. This path will actually help us to map the views with this url.py. So here I'm going to create a variable which is like URL patterns, and here this will be a list, right? And inside this list, any number of views that you create, we will be doing the mapping over here. Now in order to do the mapping also, we will be requiring one more library which is called as views, because I'll just say why views will be used. So I'll say from star import views, okay, and this is my URL pattern. And now I'm going to use this path function, and I'll basically create this as a function. Here I have to give my URL like this, like index. Okay, this is basically mapping views with the URL. So here in the next statement, I will basically write views dot, automatically you'll be able to see whatever things you have actually defined over here, probably in the views itself. Right now you have defined index, so I'm just going to copy it over here, and let's see whether index is there or not. Yes, you can find out index. So in short, this URL mapping, what it is doing, it is mapping these views to this URL pattern. Okay, and remember, for this, that basically means how this path will get created. Now if I really want to call this index function, I basically have to use the localhost with some IP address, right? Slash the study planner is there. So study planner slash, after this I have to basically call this index. Once I call this index, then what will happen? This will get mapped to this particular URL pattern with this views.py, and this entire function is going to get called. Very much simple. But still there is one thing that is actually remaining, okay, which is the mapping of the final URL with this default main app, right? And here also you will be able to find out one more urls.py. And if you see over here, guys, it will be given over here, the URL pattern which routes URLs to URLs. So this is the main page from where the main URL mapping is happening. I have to, from this test app, I also have to map the study planner. So in order to do that, it is very much simple. I'm going to just add one more path over here, and I'm going to say this path will be getting mapped to my study planner, okay, and then I will basically write admin. So instead of writing admin, because see what will come over here, what I have to map it over here, I have to map all the URLs that I'm actually putting in the study planner. So in order to do that, I'm going to import one more library called as include. Okay, this include library will actually help you to include all the different app project URLs. So what is my app project? So here I'll just say study project, study planner dot URLs. So what I'm actually calling over here, I'm calling this app project, and inside this there is something called as urls.py. So I'm actually calling this, and I'm mapping it with the main test app. Now let's see whether everything will run or not, because I think everything should run. So I'm just going to save it, everything, and by default, if I go and run this, you'll be able to see this output. Okay, so I'm just going to clear the screen, and let's run my manage.py. Now in order to run the Django project, I'll just python manage.py, and I'm going to just say run server. Okay, so I love working with Visual Studio Code. That is the thing, right? So this is my URL now. Now here you can see by default you have this two URLs. I have not put what will be my home page. For that also I can do that. I'll show you that in the later stages, but now here we are focusing more on views and URLs. So I will just say study planner slash index. Let's see whether it will work fine or not. So here you can see that, guys, as soon as I return study planner slash index, here you'll be able to see welcome to Krish study timetable. So this is your entire view that was actually mapped to your views itself. Now here, if I go and see this, everyone see this, what will happen? So initially it will go and check this URL mappers, and based on this mapping, you'll be seeing that study planner.url is getting mapped. So it'll go over here, it'll go and see what all mapping are here, and by default it is called index. As soon as the index is called, this view.py, this particular function will get called. Now this is fine, but this is just a welcome message, right? Let's do one thing. Let's create some more views, because I want to also make sure that On Monday, I want to provide you some information what you will study or what I will be studying. Sorry. So here I'll say definition Monday, and here I'll be taking a request, and here I'll say return HTTP response. Welcome. So in Monday, I usually study. I'll just say that today I am learning. Today I am learning data science. This is it, right? So Monday I'm actually learning data science. I'll just execute it. Now here you can see that will be in a debug true state. Now I have created this index. Now what is the next step I have to do? I have to map it with my url.py. So here I'm just going to add one more path and place it over here. Here I'll say Monday. Okay, and this will be basically views.monday. Fine, done. Now here you can see everything is fine. Let's go back to the URL, and this is my home page. Now if I go and write instead of index as Monday, then you will be able to see that I will be getting today I'm learning data science. Now Monday timetable is also done. Now what you can do, similarly go and copy and paste it like this for Tuesday, for Wednesday, for Thursday, like that you can actually do it now. Okay, so this will be my Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday request, HTTP request, I'm learning big data today. Okay, big data today. Don't worry about the static HTML and all, everything I'll cover it, but I hope you are able to understand this. You need to understand, and this way you can create any days that you want. Okay, so Tuesday, I think it was not getting loaded. Okay, I did not map the path. Now this is what happens if you don't map the path. Now I have to map the path over here. Okay, I have to basically say this as Tuesday. Perfect, right? Now this is the basic thing. Now I'll go back over here. Now here you can see on Tuesday I'm learning data science. Why it is coming as data science? Because again some mistakes I have actually done. So this is views.monday or Tuesday. Let's me just do it for Tuesday. Views.tuesday. That's it. Very nice, guys. See, very simple. Now if I reload it, I'm learning big data and all. Now the thing is that, guys, for this kind of thing, see, for every view that I'm creating Monday view, Tuesday view. Why can't I just create one sample, only one view which will be able to handle all these requests? So what I'm saying is that I'll say definition weekly timetable. Okay, and here I will be taking two parameters. One is request and the other one is day, right? And I'll say over here this will be my text, and I'll say okay, if my day is double equal to Monday, then I will put this text as I will learn data science, right? And once this is done, I can now return HTTP response with this specific text, right? So what I've done over here, I've generalized all these forms. Instead of writing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and all those things, I have just now created one function which will be able to handle it. Now suppose if I say elif the day is double equal to Tuesday, okay, then here I'll say text I will learn big data. Today I'm learning big data, something like this. I'll copy and paste it. Okay, so I can definitely do this. But apart from this, what changes will happen now? Now see this, if I go back to my urls.py, instead of writing like this now, I will be doing one very good thing. So this particular thing is called as a generic placeholder. So instead of writing like this, I will write this as day. Remember, this parameter should be the same parameter that you are mentioning over here. If you provide a different parameter, trust me, it will not work. Okay, so please make sure that you have that same plan. So day, and here I'll say views dot weekly timetable. That's it. Very simple, very easy. Django is quite powerful, guys. I'm loving in this, you know, I have actually created a lot of things over here. So now I'll say study planner of Monday. See, when I executed this now, I will learn data science. Now if I convert this into Tuesday, now you will be saying today I'm learning big data. Perfect, right? So just with one function and this views, I have just created this one, definition of weekly timetable and all, and you are able to do it, right? So I hope you liked this session. You are able to understand so many things from this. Again, you really need to see this example of URLs and these. Try to do something from your end, and I will be coming up with more videos like this. So this was the tutorial 3 of Django. I hope you like this particular video. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Thank you, Wandal. Bye bye.